Shalom, Barakatah Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Bashim Rakakadash, peace salutations to Akim out here pushing this truth, pushing this law. Short, straight to the point. I've spoke about it. Now the so-called United States government came out and spoke about it. They're anticipating retaliatory strikes off the West Coast. And I'm gonna tell you because I've been saying it, off the East Coast and in the Gulf. They know that there's Iranian drones on Russian submarines out that way. Chinese submarines they could actually find. So that's not a big deal. But those Russian submarines, as I've stated for months, they're undetectable. So right now, what I'm going to show is the United States Poseidon plane. In other words, it's a submarine finder plane. And they're constantly going right now 24 hours. Ever since they just dropped that very large bomb over in Iran. I think it was outside of Tehran. So I'm going to get into that. I'm going to just show y'all what's going on, right? And this is modern day prophecy. Like this is finna happen. It's about to happen. We don't have a choice. It's finna happen, right? So the so-called, right, Arabians, if you will, right, Iranians, them too, like they're all finna team up. That's why the UAE, Saudi Arabia, they're all pulling back and they're all withdrawing from the United States now because they're like, wait a minute, your missile defense systems were supposed to work against us. If you see Iran's new supreme leader, if you will, right, he came out and was like, yo, I'm calling on all the the Islamic faithfuls communities around the world. He's like, yo, what we doing? Y'all watch, y'all in other words, we big bro and them, y'all watching us fight. Like, nigga, you ain't gonna jump in? Like, what we doing? So that's what's going on there, right? But we're going to get into the scriptures where the Most High told us this. I'm going to show the scriptures, give the prophecy, and it's going to happen, right? But they're off the west coast of the United States right now. In those subs, they can't find them. They're trying to find them, right? So here's how this can work. People are like, well, wait a minute. Shouldn't we just, attack and be at war with Russia and China because they're using their stuff? No, it don't work like that. Because ain't the United States using Israel's bases to launch offensive attacks against Iran? Aren't they using Qatar's bases to launch offensive attacks against Iran, right? Iran, same thing, right? Aren't they using that? So, and the same in Ukraine. What's the difference between the United States sending them all their missiles and bombs and aircraft, sent the aircraft carrier over there, sent over a few F-15s. What's the difference in that? And then what Russia and China is doing? Russia and China saying, hold on, the United States doing that, right? They doing that. So Turkey and Israel and other places, they're allowing the United States to use their facilities so they can go ahead and move forward. So Russia and China is returning the favor. Russia like, yeah, you can. We will load up all your stuff. We will load up all your carriers, all your drones, and put them on our carriers, and we'll take them over there. You can shoot them off from our planes and let them destroy our planes if they want to. Let them destroy our submarines and aircraft carriers if they want to. Then they're at war with us. This is why China and Russia just came out and they're like, nah, we back Iran. We're going to give them all the supplies that they need. This is why the president of the United States needed to take Cuba. Because Cuba is a heavy ally with Russia. There's Russian troops. There's Russian bases in Cuba. That's why Trump is like, nah, we got to have Cuba because they could just fire off stuff. They right there close to Florida. Can't do it. Okay? So here's what's going on. Now, y'all can go track these. This is their flight patterns. That's what I want to show y'all what's going on now. Then I'm going to get right into the scriptures. I'm going to play it while I'm talking, actually. Right? So this over LA, this morning. Now, y'all can pull up the Gulf, right? This United States Navy. Look at that. It's out there trying to find a Russian submarine with all those Iranian drones on there. They don't just have drones. They got ballistic missiles, too. So look at the new statement from Iran's supreme leader. He said, nah, we ain't just taking it here. He said, we coming to your land. This is why they sent that warning out saying, hey, it's an imminent attack for Texas and for California. So in other words, you don't need to be in no place. Look at this. They all look to it. That's why I posted the other day, if y'all been following, Red Dawn. Remember, Red Dawn, they invaded through the state of Washington. That's why you just saw Seattle on here, okay? They're off the coast of California, in the Gulf, Florida, etc., right? There it is, the PAA Poseidon, right? It's been on patrol the whole time over the Pacific Ocean, because they can't find it. They won't be able to find it. The scriptures say they won't be able to find it, all right? Matter of fact, let's just get right into that, right? So the Most High told us, he told us in 2nd Esdras, I'm going to just get right to it, and I'm going to get to the reason why, right? 2nd Esdras 15 and 43, right? It says, and they shall go steadfastly unto Babylon. This didn't happen before, right? Matter of fact, hold on. No, not that one. That ain't the one I want, Salat. But this is it, though. This is part of it. This is it. This is not what I wanted, right? 2nd Esdras 15, I'm going to go to 28. Here it is. This is the biblical prophecy of all the so-called Islamic, if you will, how they like to say, all the so-called Islamic nations around the world. This will, in other words, this is going to be everybody in the Middle East. This is going to be Qatar. This is going to be Iran. This is going to be Saudi Arabia. This is going to be Dubai. This is going to be everybody over there. They all going. This is going to be they all going to team up. And they're going to come with Gog and Magog. They're going to come with Russia. They're going to come with China. They're all going to come together at one time, and they're going to surround America, Babylon, and make her afraid. This is what you're watching right now, right? So watch this. Here's the biblical proof. This is why a lot of people need to understand the ancient Hebrew. No, we didn't speak Arabic. We didn't do this. We weren't Muslims. We weren't this. They forced that upon us when we were in West, Central, and North Africa. Right? Because I got a bunch of friends, you know, people I grew up with who Muslim and stuff now. They understand we the children of Israel, and I always say, then why you ain't following the Torah? And it be crickets. Because even the Quran tells people that you need to go learn the word from the Israelites. That's us. People like me, other like me. Y'all got to come learn from us. Because, for example, the word Allah means God. That's what they say. Okay, well, God is a title. Just like mom and dad is a title, but your mom and your dad got a name. And who got the name of the Most High? We do. Yahweh. We got his name, right? So even Christianity don't even have his name. So that's off topic, but it's lessons within lessons. Look, let's get right here. 2nd Esdras 15 and 28. Behold, a horrible vision and the appearance thereof from the east, because they all going to come from the east. Remember in the book of Ezekiel, it says it's going to make way so the kings of the east could be brought, and they all going to come upon mystery Babylon, if you will, here, America, right? Look at this. Whereas the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out of many chariots, right? And the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth. Russia, China, they're going to deliver all of their soldiers, their drones, their aircrafts, meaning their fighter jets. They're going to deliver them. They say, bro, oh, y'all niggas need a ride? Yeah, you need a ride to get over there? Oh, I'm going that way. Y'all can ride with me. That's what Russia and China is going to do. That's in the scriptures. That's in Ezekiel 38. When the Most High says he's going to put the hook in the jaw of the king of Mashal Rasha, which is the king of Moscow, Russia, with the prince of Moscow, Russia, which is Putin. The Most High said, I'm going to toughen his heart, and he going to bring everybody over there. Because Russia's the only one who really can compete with the United States, right? This is what he's saying, right? And the multitude, back in the middle of 29, the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, right? That all they which hear them may fear and tremble. So here's what's going on. They're out there searching for them subs and them carriers right now right the view there now. If you're on vacation, you better open up your eyes. They're off the eastern seaboard, and they're off the west coast of California, going all the way up to Washington. That's why I posted that stuff about Red Dawn. They're going to invade from there. The Most High said they're going to invade from there, right? Then they're going to shut it down with martial law, stocks, market, all that going to crash. The market of the beast going to come, and then it's going to be like a full-fledged World War III. Because they like, nah, you ain't taking our land, because they think America is theirs, right? So let me start over. Whereas the nations of the dragons of Arabia, it's what we're talking about, shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth. and all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Here we go right here. This is why it's important to learn a language you need to learn from the Israelites. Also, the Carmanians, that's the old language, the ancient, the Paleo-Hebrew word for Iranians. Them, what you seeing today, this is prophecy. This didn't happen. Because they didn't team up, all the so-called Ishmaelites, if you will. They never teamed up and came upon Egypt ever before in their lives. This is prophecy talking about for today, right? Also, the Carmanians, right, today's Iranians, ranging in wrath, shall go forth as wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come. Because whether if you know it or not, Trump them ain't pulling out of the Middle East because they saying it was just an operation. Boy, they pulling out because they getting that thing handed to them. Them military bases over there, you better, if you don't know nobody, right, in the IGRC, anything like that, if you don't know nobody over in the UAE, anything like that, man, you better ask them. Say, drive by, just like today, you can say drive by Fort Hood, drive by Fort Jackson, drive by Lawton Air Force Base, drive by there and show me how it look. Boy, they getting handed to them. So they move all those Hamas defense systems. Guess what they brought them to? They brought them back home. That's why Israel getting obliterated right now. They brought them back home to the United States because they know Russia and China got some of them drones. So it's a sneak move. The United States at war over there with Iran, and Russia and China, they ain't stepped in. People think they ain't stepping in, but they have. They got some of their ballistics, the Iranian ballistics, and they drones on their subs, on their carriers, and they are around the United States right now. That's what they're not telling y'all. Let me start over. Also coming the Carmanians ranging in wrath shall go forth as wild boars of the wood, right? And with great power shall they come and join battle with them. They're going to join with Gog and Magog, right? And shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. Today is modern day Assyria, right? This is Babylon. This is America. This is what it's talking about, right? Remember the 10 tribes left and came over here to the Americas. So they're going to waste part of the land. They're going to invade that west coast. This is all biblical prophecy. They're going to open up the mouth of the beast, if you will. They're going to waste part of the west coast. A lot of y'all have seen in dreams and things like that, nukes falling in New York and being flooded. Y'all have seen Washington, the state of Washington, being invaded in California. That's why Trump was giving that warning. He said, hey, look, they're going to hit back. That's why he gave a strong warning to Texas and to California. He said, hey, look, we know that their drones are out here. We trying to find them. But the scriptures say they're not going to find them. They're going to take part of their land, and it's going to shut down like the Hunger Games. It's going to be locked down, World War III, martial law. The last king of Babylon, it is Trump. He going to still be in office because it's going to be martial law. We ain't going to have no dollar, ain't going to be no stock markets, ain't going to be none of that. That market of the beast going to come in. You're going to need that for currency, right? Because the market of the beast got to happen first, and then, everything. We right here at the end, y'all, right? So that's what's going on now. Why? Here's why the Most High is doing this, right? Look at verse 8. This is talking about Babylon. People like, well, we know the Negroes in America are the real Hebrews, the children of Israel. Well, why they God not doing nothing? Look, verse 8. He said, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness. Like, yo, swing low, sweet chariot. That's why you used to hear them Negro spirituals, some Negro slaves. We was like, yo, he said, don't worry. I ain't going to hold my tongue no more because I ain't touched them yet. They think y'all ain't my children no more. And now everybody who Christians and believers are all saved. No, y'all my children. They think because I ain't touched them yet that I'm soft, that I'm blonde haired, blue eyed. How they painting me, right? This is what he's saying. I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. They profanely committed. And they say the law's done away. You ain't got to keep the law. You ain't got to fast. You ain't got to do atonement. You ain't got to do this. Just be good and you fine. Right? Neither will I suffer them in these things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. They exercise this. The Most High ain't never said none of that. He ain't never said, yeah, your law's done away, you do what you want. We under grace. The Most High ain't never said none of that. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth to me. The only definition of innocence and righteous, according to the Most High himself, right, all throughout the scriptures, are the Israelites. So people don't even know what righteous and righteousness means. It's the Israelites who keeping the law, the Israelites, right? He's saying they cried to me. And the souls of the just, the definition of just, to the Most High, biblically, are always the Israelites. It's not everyone. He said, and the souls of the just complain continually. Man, they fired me from work. Dang, I got into it with this person over here. They beating us. They taking advantage of my son at school. They flunking him. They giving us vaccines. They poisoning the food. We the only ones complaining. White people going backpacking through Europe, skiing in Breckenridge. They in their heaven. We are the only ones complaining, right? This is why he's doing it. Right? Let's get into it. Now this is further validation that the only reason the Most High is taking down this place is because of the Israelites. It has nothing to do with Christianity. Nothing. Y'all better stop believing that pastor way over in Atlanta, 5811, all that. Man, he's a Mason. Right? Look, 2 Esdras 15 verse 20. Behold, said Yahweh, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reference me. Never forget, they asked Putin, why are you going to war in Ukraine? And he opened up those Russian catacombs and he showed those Levite priests, and they were Negroes. And he literally said, this is why I'm going to war with them. Because never forget, the Ukrainians, they're Khazars too. They're the fake Chick-fil-A honest kids, apple juices, you know what I'm saying, too. They're the fake Jews too, right? Putin said, this is why I'm going to war with them. And he said, America has the children of God in their possession. He said they got them in their possession. Putin was like, yo, this is what's happening. Let's read it again. Because the Most High said, I'm going to call together the kings of the earth to reference me. Meaning, y'all know who my children are. Y'all know who I am. Why y'all ain't stepped in and did nothing in 500 years? Now they are. This is biblical prophecy. We living in it. Christians, so you living in the Old Testament. Because that's where the prophecy's at. It's about to happen. Behold, said Yahweh, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reference me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the east. It goes back to Ezekiel. He's going to make way so the kings of the east can be brought, right? From the south, from the east, right? And Libanus, right? To turn themselves one against another and repay the things that they have done to them. Now, he's talking about who Amalek and Esau, right? Because Amalek, the fake apple juices, they funded the whole slave trade. The Arabian slave trade too. No, we not Muslims. We not none of that. They had us in slavery too. Remember, they took us in slavery through that over to the northeastern coast of Africa. Forced all of us to become so-called Muslims and worship Muhammad. And on the west coast in South and Central Africa, they took us to the west, to the Americas, and forced us into Christianity. This is all facts. We was following the Torah. That's it. The Most High gave us the law and said that's it. Y'all the Hebrews, follow that. Right? Verse 21, look at it. This is how you know it's about the Israelites. It's talking about those who are in Babylon, America, right? Like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, the Israelites, so will I also do, right? So will I do also, and recompense in their bosom. Thus said Yahweh. So he's saying, this is the reason I'm doing this. Because of what you done been doing over there in America, shooting them dead in the street with their hands up, slavery, curving test scores. You could go on and on and on and on. Redlining, red zoning. Intentionally, they only make up 12% of the population, but 98% of the prisons. Nah, man, you think we violent? Man, I probably know a handful of violent Negroes that I've ever met. And I come from the hood. I grew up in the hood. I don't know a handful of just violent ones who be like, all right, that nigga need to be in jail. Everybody else, for the most part, bro, we be kicking it. We be chilling, right? Doing hood rat things with our hood rat friends, if you will, as they say. We be chilling for the most part. You give us some barbecue, some food, some music, man, get out the way. Most people be chilling, right? That's why he's doing it, right? Matter of fact, here, there's some more in there too. Why the Most High said he doing it. Oh, here it is right here. So everything we read earlier, Russia, Gog, Magog, all the Arabians, all the Ishmaelites, the Iranians, right? Modern day Persia, all of them gonna come together. Look at verse 43. And they shall go steadfastly unto Babylon, unto America, and make her afraid, like they are now. They got them Poseidons out above all the coast. East Coast, West Coast, and Third Coast, right? Third Coast, down there in Texas, right? They're all in the Gulf, Gulf of Mexico, what they call Gulf of America now. They shall go steadfastly, look up that word, and make her afraid. This is what you're seeing right now. This is why they're releasing the warnings, right? You shouldn't be in places right now coming up where it's a large amount of people. For example, the Grand Prix racing, if you will, is I think it's at Cowboy Stadium. It's going to be millions of people there. You probably shouldn't be there. You got South by Southwest. You got all these music festivals coming up. That, Coachella. You got the World Cup in Texas and in California. And I believe it's in Mexico, right? Yes. You done Dallas, Houston, LA. You don't. That's not where you want to be. That is not where you want to be right now, right? Verse 44. They shall come to her, talking about Babylon, right? With that whore sitting in the midst of the water, the Statue of Liberty. They shall come to her and besiege her. Remember, they're going to destroy part of the land, right? The star and all rats shall they pour out upon her. Then shall the dust and smoke go up into the heavens. So like that bomb they just dropped on Iran 2 days ago, and that mushroom cloud went all the way up, because there's different meanings for heaven. That's why you have the word heavens, lowercase h, and you have the word heaven with a capital case H, and it's singular. Then you have heavens with a capital H. When it says go up into the heaven, it's talking about the atmosphere, because those are different layers of the heavens, right? So it shall go up into the heaven, and all they that be about shall bewail her. You're going to be able to look from Punta Cana, from Cancun, from Guatemala. You're going to be looking from the Virgin Islands, and you're going to be able to see all that fire. From Hawaii, you're going to be able to look way out into the sky, and you're going to be like, dang, you're going to see a whole island burning, meaning Babylon, America. You're going to see California burning, Washington, parts of Florida burning, New York. You're going to just see it burning from Cuba, from Puerto Rico. You're going to look and see it burning probably from the Florida Keys. You're going to be like, yo, what's happening? I thought they couldn't be touched. That's what he's saying. Right? Now watch this too. Because don't get it twisted, because all these nations had us in slavery, and I'm going to get out of here. Verse 2 Esdras 15:45. And they that remain under her shall do service unto them that have put her in fear. Because they're going to come in, how the United States go in, and they say they spread democracy, and they take over, and they kind of conquer everything, and force everybody to learn English, ESL and all that. When they come in with Russia and China and all the UAE and all the so-called Muslim countries, if you will, they're going to what they doing in the state of Texas right now. Then we outlawing the Shia law. We outlawing that. Nah, they gonna force. Now you got to get in. You gonna have to do Ramadan. You gonna have to do this. You gonna have to fast. We gonna have to cover your hair. Yeah, that's the Most High just said it's gonna happen, so it's gonna happen. Right? Last one, verse 46, and I'll get out of here. Y'all get into this on your own, right? And don't think China escaped, because remember, they had us as slaves too. They come and open up wok tongue shops all in our hoods and stuff, feeding us cat and feeding us rat. The Most High ain't forgot about them. He just using these nations to destroy Babylon. But the Israelites, we gonna be good during that time, because them angels gonna be above us in the chariots. They ain't gonna be able to touch the Israelites. Right? Verse 46. And you, Asia, right, that are a partaker of the hope of Babylon and the glory of her person, meaning, nah, y'all was all in bed with them, coming over here, opening up banks, Little China, Koreatown, all that stuff. He said, nah, you was in bed with them. Don't try to come against them now, but I'm going to use you to destroy them, right? In verse 47, you can read through that. It says, woe be unto thee, right? Because you made yourself like unto her. You go to Beijing, you go into all this. China is just like America, right? They got whorehouses, they got massage parlors, happy endings. They all over. I know they all over San Francisco and LA, Dallas and Houston. They all over there. You pass by a massage place, you got them black tinted windows on there. You can go in there and it's called happy endings. Don't care what nobody say. That's how it is, right? And Most High says you made yourself like unto her, and you dick your daughters in whoredom. What I just say, the whorehouses, right, and all that they might please and glory in the lovers which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. That's what he's saying, right? Verse 48, he's saying you followed her that is hated in all her works and her inventions. Y'all have the same thing that. Let me give you a perfect example. This for the fellas out there. You know, Asian women, they look at white men like they're gods. All the Asian, they come over here, their mothers and fathers even tell them, you need to find a white man, because that's the king to them. That's the king of the earth to them. Those who travel know what I'm talking about. They want one of them. If they got one of them, they think they made it. They'll pop out of the Edomite baby quick when we are the original kings and priests of the earth, right? Now I'm going to get down to this here and get out of here, right? Now this is why the Most High repeated it 3 times. This is why he has to destroy Amalek and Esau off the earth. Look at it. 2nd Esdras 15 and 53. If you has not always slain my chosen, he said, I would have gave you mercy. But if you didn't always kill my damn children every day I turn on the news, Shanique was getting ripped out of a car for a ticket. Right? Daquan getting shot with his hands up. If you didn't always kill my children, that's what he's saying. If you didn't always kill my children, exalting the stroke of your hands and saying over the dead, right? When he was drunken, set forth our beauty countenance, right? He said, I'm a reward. The reward of your whoredoms shall be in your bosom. Therefore, you shall receive recompense. Meaning saying, I only put them there on punishment, right? And this is also in the book of Isaiah. The Most High is saying to them, I was only mad at them for a little while. Matter of fact, Google and pull that scripture up. He says, I was only mad at them for a little while. They my children. You was only on punishment for the weekend. He used the other nations as his whipping stick. Those who know the scriptures know what I'm saying. And this is only for the elect anyway. He says, I used them as my whipping stick. But you niggas took it too far. That's what he's saying. Y'all took it too far and tried to erase them off the earth, poisoning them, giving them ADHD, giving them autism, trying to wipe their whole seed off the earth. They was on the earth just for captivity. That's done now. It's a wrap, right? So with that, we witnessing modern day, present day prophecy. These countries, right? Iran, right? The Moabites, Russia, if you will, right? God, Magog, they already doing it. So when these attacks happen, soon it happen, it's going to hit because Most High said so. California, the state of Washington, Florida, anywhere, when it happens, when they release their ballistic missiles and their drones, you better scroll through your phone, your messages, and all those Israelite men, because you're going to be around them that you ignored, you better go find one. So with that, hope you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Shalom.